Welcome to Linda's TV show. If it is your first time of stopping by or coming across my YouTube channel, you are highly welcome. Please, I beg you for this favor, click on that red button that says subscribe. Beside the red button is a notification bell. Turn the bell on so that anytime I upload a new video, you will be the first person to check it out. I appreciate each and every one of you who always come back to watch my videos. Like you know, I present news on daily basis to you. So after watching the video, you are free to criticize and leave your comment constructively. Share the video. Yeah, you can share it to your family, friends, anybody that you can, so that they themselves will be informed. Now I present to you another interesting or informative video which we are going to watch.
To give a boost to the jihadists. I mean, this is so senseless. I can't believe it. West African leaders don't know that if they attack the legitimate armed forces of Niger, they actually boost the insurgents. This simple thing, West African leaders cannot see it. What kind of leaders do we have in West Africa? Unbelievable. You put that aside. Nigeria, which is jumping into this matter with enthusiasm and so on, Tinubu and all the Nigerian governments over many years have not been able to defeat the Boko Haram insurgency in the northeast of Nigeria. They have failed completely to defeat the Boko Haram insurgency. Now, they are forgetting about the Boko Haram insurgency and moving to Niger to install a deposed president. I can't believe it. Is that how the resources, the best use that the Nigerian government can put Nigerian resources to? Between Boko Haram and the coupists in Niger, who has to be fought? I can't believe it. Let's put that one too aside. These leaders claim that they are going to restore democracy. In the process, they are displaying their utter lawlessness, complete lawlessness. How do lawless people install democracy? Lawless people. First of all, under international law, no country can invade another or wage war on another without the express approval of the United Nations Security Council. Anything outside this frame is completely illegal. This West African attempt to go and fight in Niger has not received the approval of the United Nations Security Council, and therefore it's an illegal act, completely illegal act. So lawless sets of states, completely lawless sets of states, are marching into Niger to go and restore democracy. Now, restoration should mean that there was democracy in Niger and that has been disturbed, okay? What was happening in Niger? Was that democracy? What was happening in Niger? What was democratic about it? I think West African leaders assume that once you put ballot boxes there, people go and put pieces of paper in it, whether it is counted properly or not, you know, no matter how you get the majority, then democracy has been installed. That is false. What has been happening in West Africa with regards to elections has nothing to do with democracy at all. We all know it. Look, election results are determined by the people who have the biggest pockets. That's all, biggest pocket. Elections are rigged all the time. In fact, there was one election in Nigeria, and I was listening to the British Broadcasting Corporation. And the chief of the village actually said that they were still waiting for the ballot papers and boxes to arrive. This was in the evening. Results had already been declared. This is democracy, the democracy they want to go and protect. In the last elections in Ghana, as many as 9 people were killed. There has been no investigation. Nobody has been punished for those killings. In Ghana, we all remember Ayawasu West Wogon and what happened there. The brutal attack on voters and so on. Government set up a committee to investigate, The committee headed by Mr. Short came up with its findings. Government just threw it into the waste bin. You understand? So, is it a democracy they want to restore? I doubt. I imagine what is happening is that a bunch of West African leaders who are frightened, really frightened, scared by their own inaction and actions, and the consequences thereof, met. And out of this fear of their own failures and its consequences, they made a decision to go and attack Niger. Now, all of these countries in West Africa are in serious economic difficulties. Ghana is virtually bankrupt. We are spending 128% of total national revenue on debt repayment, debt servicing, and public sector emoluments. We are broke. Nigeria, same situation. In fact, the Nigerian government has just had to remove subsidies on petroleum products. And the protest in Nigeria is reaching a crescendo. And so, in Ghana, because of the current state of our economy, taxes have been increased. We've just imposed a 10% tax on gaming and so on. We are even taxing sanitary products, women's sanitary products, describing them as luxury goods and so on. So we are utility tariffs have gone up. Just unbearable situations in West Africa. As we speak, the prices of food have gone up by 300% over the last 2 years. Inflation was itching towards 50% in Ghana and so on. So we are imposing these hardships on your people in order to increase revenue, so that we can deal with the problems that confront our people, problems like lack of access to social services and so on. Then all of a sudden, you decide to deploy these resources to a useless war in Niger. So Ghanaians, don't forget all the taxes you are paying. Don't forget food prices escalating and so on. Eventually, whatever is realized is going to be used to wage a useless war in Niger. The people of Nigeria should not forget that the withdrawal of subsidies on petroleum products and so on is going to finance an absolutely useless war. And these West African leaders must understand that nobody is going to support this level of recklessness. Now, there is something else. Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea have said that any attack on Niger will be deemed as an attack on their own countries. So walking into Niger is not just going to fight those who staged the coup. It is a war in West Africa between a set of states, Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, La Côte d'Ivoire and others, against another set of states, Niger, Burkina Faso, Mali, and Guinea at least. Is that not absolute madness? The leaders of West Africa have decided that our countries, instead of uniting to deal with our hydra-headed problems, we should be fighting against each other. That's complete madness. Complete madness. I can't believe that this is happening. Absolute madness is what these leaders of West Africa are promoting. And then the worst of it, You know, France and the United States are pushing for the West African states to go and wage this war in Niger. What has France offered? $25 million. France is offering $25 million for us to go and kill our soldiers. These soldiers, they are not going to undertake a walk in the park. They are going to fight. They will die. So we should take $25 million and go and die. And our leaders are comfortable with that. How much has France committed to Ukraine? How much has France committed to Ukraine? This is an insult to West Africa to offer us $25 million to go and die. It's a bloody insult to West Africa. And I'm so surprised that our leaders cannot see through these racist antics and so on. Look, Niger is said to be the second poorest country in the world. How come? Niger has abundant uranium resources. In fact, if you go to France today, 1 out of every 3 light bulbs is powered by uranium from Niger. In addition to that, it has enormous gold resources. It has oil and gas and so on. How come that Niger is ranked as the second poorest country in the world? It is because of French neocolonialism. The French take everything out of Niger, and the Nigerians get absolutely nothing. Are the people of Niger not entitled to rise up against this exploitation of their resources? They obviously are entitled to rise up against this exploitation, of their resources. Massa, today as we speak, the second largest drone base of the U.S. Army is in Niger. So the U.S. and France have some interest there, and that interest is a neo-colonial interest. It's an interest of taking over the resources of Niger for their own benefit. West African leaders have decided to go and support this aberration. West African leaders must understand very clearly, that the anti-French fervent in West Africa is growing, and they cannot stop it. They cannot stop it because the peoples of West Africa feel the impact of neocolonialism. The peoples of West Africa are suffering poverty as a result of hundreds of years of enslavement. You see, I look at our history, 600 years of history. About 100 of those years were spent enslaving us, direct enslavement. When we were used as beasts of burden, you understand? When we were captured as slaves in the transatlantic slave trade. We spent another 500 years under colonial exploitation. And we spent the last 70, 80 years under neo-colonial exploitation. Our people can no longer bear this situation. Our people will fight against it, and our people will be victorious. West African leaders must clearly understand that they are standing in the path of development of their people, and their people will sweep them aside one after the other by any means possible. Why? When the West African leaders went to Mali to go and ostensibly bully the Malian junta to hand over to the deposed president, did they see the anger of the people of Mali on the streets? That should have taught them important lessons. In any case, bless all these West African leaders who are misbehaving. How many of them have 10% of the popularity that these coup regimes enjoy? The coup regimes they're so angry with. How many of these West African leaders have 10% of the popularity and support that these coup leaders enjoy? None of them. None of them whatsoever. So look, they are kicking against a rock with their bare feet. And in the final analysis, who gets hurt will be the guy with the bare feet kicking against the rock and not the rock. I think they're making a very serious mistake They are making a monumental mistake, and they better watch out. Today I'm reading from the Ghanaian papers that almost all the civil society organizations in Ghana are opposed to this reckless war. The Presbyterian Church of Ghana has come up to oppose the war. The Socialist Movement of Ghana has come up to oppose the war. Everybody is opposed to this war. In Nigeria, the civil society organizations are opposed to the war. So what mandate are these West African leaders, exercising? If you take the Nigerian president, who is chairperson of ECOWAS, his own parliament has voted against war. So what is he doing? Preparing for war when his parliament has voted against war. In any case, if you override the decision of his parliament, how democratic is he? Anybody who overrides the decision of their parliament cannot call themselves democratic and go to another country to install democracy. In Ghana, our constitution requires that our head of state needs to secure parliamentary approval before he declares war. He hasn't secured parliamentary approval and is declaring war. Is that democracy? Is that lawful? Look, these leaders need to sit up and think about the geopolitical consequences of their reckless actions, because they are going to push West Africa into a turmoil. The sanctions they imposed already is beginning to backfire. In Ghana, onion sellers and consumers are beginning to protest that the sanctions imposed of Niger have led to very high onion prices, and it's going to get worse. We are dependent on Burkina Faso for the supply of tomatoes. Okay? That's also going to hit us in the face, and so on. So these sanctions don't make any sense. They better be removed as quickly as possible. And the reckless attempt to wage war in Niger ought to be brought to a very quick end. You understand? In any case, my brother, how strong are our armies? Ghana is preparing to go and attack Niger. And I was asking myself, so how many aircrafts does our Air Force have? How are you even going to ferry your troops to Niger? What is the capacity of all the aircrafts we have? How many soldiers can these aircrafts take to Niger? Maybe the leaders are thinking that France will come and airlift our soldiers to Niger. But that's a blatant interference in African affairs which should not be countenanced. You understand? Look at the fighter jets that we have. Jokes. I mean, today we are still using MiG-26 fighters. Is that not the case? And you want to go and wage war. What equipment do you even have for going to wage war? This is a very reckless action, and I think it should be condemned in very strong terms. I will never support such a war. And if there's anything I can do to make such a move fail, I will do it as my patriotic duty to Ghana and West Africa. All West Africans have a serious patriotic duty to ensure that this war does not come on. They have a serious patriotic duty to their countries and West Africa to ensure that this war effort fails. In any case, history teaches us that warmongers who pursue such paths eventually become victims of their own actions. I've seen it before. This attempt to send soldiers in Niger may only lead to a lot more coups in West Africa. And there are countries in West Africa which must look sharp. Macky Sall, Senegal. Macky Sall, Senegal, ought to look sharp. It can easily fall. La Côte d'Ivoire can easily fall, and many other countries can easily fall. In any case, look at somebody like Alassane Ouattara. How did Alassane Ouattara become president? Alassane Ouattara became president because the French military overthrew Laurent Gbagbo and installed him as president. What moral authority does he have to be talking about coup d'etats when he himself is a beneficiary of a coup d'etat? Alassane Ouattara actually amended the constitution of La Côte d'Ivoire to give himself a third term. And interestingly, Our president, Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo, went and congratulated him for doing a good job. The people who supported the illegal amendment of constitutions to give their colleagues third terms, and the people who are complaining about coup d'etat in Niger, double standards, incredible double standards. Macky Sall, when he was going to the meeting in Abuja, what did he leave behind? Protesting citizens, opposition leaders in jail, citizens who have been victims of tear gas attack, citizens who have been shot with rubber bullets and so on. That's what he left at home to attend this meeting, which decided that they should go and wage war on Niger. Ask all the leaders, what situations did they live at home? Sierra Leone, he left home to go and attend this meeting. At the time, there were reports of an impending coup attack, and military officers have been arrested left, right, and center, and so on. These people, they are restoring democracy in West Africa. It's incredible. Nobody should take them serious. These are jokers. These are people who are joking. I mean, if they were just joking with themselves, it would perhaps not be so serious. But they are joking with our lives and our future in West Africa. And we will resist them. And we must resist them.
Right. Thank you very much, Comrade Kwesi Pratt Jr. Let me read some of your messages. Good morning. I'm watching from Manila in the Philippines. This one came from Francis Freeman. Thank you so much for your message. Suleiman Jallo says, good morning, Pan-African TV. This is Suleiman Jallo, and I'm watching from Sierra Leone. Issa Osman says, good morning, interesting conversation. I'm watching from Saudi Arabia. And Bukar Abba El Miskin says, morning, watching from Maiduguri, Bono, in Nigeria. Thomas Robert says, yeah, Bono, right, in Nigeria. Pardon me if I mispronounce your names and then the cities and towns you are watching from. I may not be too conversant with them. Thomas Robert says, I missed the show. Campus has taken me off. Wow. Anefi Adam says, good morning, sir. ECOWAS has no right whatsoever under international law to interfere military in any internal affairs of a sovereign country. From Anefi in Tamale Central Constituency. Jenkins D.N. Pelena says, I'm monitoring from Monrovia in Liberia. Thank you so much for this show. Shishu Ibrahim says, good morning to you all. Shishu Ibrahim, good morning to you as well. Ibrahim Mustafa says he's watching from Lagos. Heartiest of regards to the good people of Lagos for always doing the watching. Kim Pyong Ademu Abubakar says, good morning, Pan-African TV. Watching from Kaduna State in Nigeria. Right. These are some of your messages. Let us proceed to our next topic for discussion.
In fact, I mean, there's a small point that I intend to make. When they met in Abuja, I mean, West Africa has 16 states. Only 8 states were represented in the meeting. And those 8 states, one of the countries was actually represented by their ambassador in Abuja. What moral authority does such a meeting have to wage war on another country? 8 out of 16 states. One of them represented at ambassadorial level. These leaders should stop joking with us.
Right. We'll proceed to our next story. MPP presidential is easy to use complex serial numbers to hide delegates' identity, ensure secret voting in special delegates election. I think it's about a few days more till the Super Delegates Congress of the NPP to sieve the 10 contestants to 5 for the Delegates Congress that will be taking place in November, I think November 4th or so. But this one happening on the 27th has brought up a lot of issues, and it's understood that the Electoral Commission of Ghana, they will be using a complex serial number to hide the delegate's identity in order to ensure secret voting in special delegates elections. Elvis Bota is one of the delegates. I think it's only proper and apropos that he would tell us what it is about.
I am very ready to go and vote for a right cause, not populism. I am very much in a hurry. I'm in a hurry to go and vote for good conscience and not deception. I am in a hurry. I am in a hurry to go and vote for truthfulness that stands the test of progress for our country, and not gimmicks of jargons and deceptive antics of politicking. I am very much in a hurry to do so in the interest of our motherland. As to whether they are going to have a secret balloting or we are going to have an open balloting, as a matter of fact, if they want us to raise our hands, who is for Alan, then your hands is up. Who is for Bomia, your hands is up. Who is for Ken, your hand goes up. Who are the other ones? They are Greek former. You know, it doesn't matter. NPP, we should know that this is an internal contest, and we must all rally behind the victor. Now, what are the gymnastics about? What are the internal meandering about? Using state machinery, in some cases using full intimidation by government, you know, to make sure that there is a sweep over of results by established candidates of the establishment. You see, when you do that, you create apathy going forward in the elections. Why the need for special serial numbers if you have allowed for a level playing field? Why? In any event, what is the definition of the EC when they talk of special serial numbers? What is their definition? It doesn't make sense. Are they telling us that over the years, all the serial numbers we have been using for elections of other parties, including the general elections, are compromised? Are they? Please, they should just bring us ballot boxes, ballot papers, and ensure credibility in the process and fairness, period. I believe that the elections committee chaired by Professor Makokwe will do a good job. I have no doubt on the capacity of the national headquarters to organize an election. This is not the first election the NPP is going to do. Level playing field, fair rules of the game, transparency in declaration and counting. It's what we are asking for. What is this special serial numbers about? They should just be credible to avoid overvoting and allegations of cheating and what have you. And let's get this thing cleared off our way and go. I really don't see much sense in these special delegates. I think that even if there were to be 100 people and we go to conference, someone would definitely win the election. I don't think that the waste of resources is worth it. But I am enjoined to defend the constitution of the NPP any day, anytime, until the body legitimately empowered by our laws to change these provisions actually do so. And so for now, I will hold no reservations, and all I'm asking for is a united party before, during, and after our choice of a presidential material for the next election. And in so doing, the EC must learn lessons that it is not just about internal elections, it is about external general elections of the country. They have not yet told us anything about the shootings in Techiman South. Am I correct? The shootings in Techiman South, we have not yet heard anything. There are a number of anomalies and allegations and unpalatable situations that have dominated our public electioneering processes, you know, that requires a number of stringent interventions by the EC to ensure confidence of the public. That is what we have to be doing, so that we don't jeopardize the peace yes, what looks like peace and the semblance of tranquility we need going into elections 2024. For me, that is very much paramount. As for the NPP, we will sail through these times. Prophets of doom who think that we will fight and scatter ourselves as a party after this are not going to have their prophecies come through. No matter what, I know there will be victory in the end for the party.
All right, thank you very much, Officer. What about you, Mr. Hussein? Briefly.
Well, the MPP have been gripped by fear of victimization, fear of manipulation of the elections, because they believe that the whole political establishment led by Nana Addo Dankwa Akufo-Addo has thrown its weight behind a particular candidate. And they are learning from experience. When in the last Superdelegates Congress, 3 people voted not for Nana Akufo-Addo, those people were identified. And their lots have never improved under the governorship of Nana Akufo-Addo and the NPP. Never mind that they were so important to the party that they were identified as superdelegates. The fact that they decided to vote in favor of a particular candidate other than the candidate who finally emerged as the presidential candidate of the NPP, that has been held against them. So you will find that Professor Makokei's committee and the Electoral Commission are doing all that they can to hide and mask how the people vote. And that is why I say that in elections of this nature, why they have even come to the conclusion that 800 people should meet to select 5 people for them to present to the generality of the party to determine who leads them, is an exercise in futility. In the United States of America, they do the Delegates Congress simultaneously with the General Congress. And they have a system which has weights. So how the delegates voted and how the generality of the people voted will be weighted in such a way that you will finally have the outcome and you win by state.
Thank you so much, my wonderful viewers, for watching this video together with me from the beginning to the end. Like I said before, if you like what you see here, if you like what I do in this platform, as you have finished watching this video, please hit that red button that says subscribe and put on your notification bell to all notification. In that way, you'll be able to know when I upload a new video. Share my videos, leave your comments in the comment section constructively. Until I meet your way again in my next video, I still remain your Linda's TV show. Bye-bye.